Okay. Basically, doing something a little different today. I normally, when I make a motivational video or whatever, I I take my voice, I record it, put some music over in the background, put some pictures, do my thing, and I normally talk about success and all that different kind of stuff. Um, Decided I'm gonna do something a little bit different today, and because of the content, I I decided to actually just go ahead and put just make a video with myself in it. And there's a reason for that. Um, so trying something new today. We'll see how it goes. Basically, um, today's wisdom is going to be entitled "Girls." The difference between being a lady and having class and being one of the guys and being accepted. Of course, this one's for the young females and the girls still trying to find who they are and all of that from a guy's perspective. Now, I'm a pretty good-looking guy. I've always been pretty good looking. And I've used that to my advantage when I was, as I was younger. Even up until recently, I would, um, basically just I would use females, kind of like a catch and release kind of thing. I find um, I'm more excited in the thrill of the chase than in actually having sex. Sex is very unfulfilling. Recently decided to go celibate again, and that's mostly because I'm focused on my success and the level where I see myself being, and I don't have time, and I don't want the distraction that females and sex and that whole world brings. The energy that I have sexually, my sexuality, I am redistributing that energy toward my success. Whether you agree with that or not doesn't matter, because that's not what this video is about. I just want to kind of give some background information about who I am, who I used to be. Because I've changed a lot, and I've realized things. What I used to do when I was younger. Since I was a kid. My parents moved around a lot. So I never really had a lot of friends growing up. So then when my parents got divorced and my mom moved us to Florida, I realized I was going to be there, so I started wanting to make friends, and I started doing a lot of dumb stuff to be accepted. I got made fun of it as a kid, and that didn't stop me from making fun of other kids. I'd put other people down, I'd be sarcastic, I'd make jokes, put other people down to make myself look better. I'd act up in class. The teacher, would try to get me to do something, and I would be a bad kid all the way around, just to be accepted, to entertain people. And that basically defined me for that period of my life up until around 22, 23. How I lived my life was doing dumb stuff to be accepted, because I didn't realize I didn't have self-worth, self-value. I didn't realize my potential in life, so I never had a goal. I never had a standard that I set for myself. So there was nothing that I would not do, whether it was illegal, immoral, unsafe, there was nothing that I would not do to be accepted. Um, you know, I've done the drugs. I've done you know, the criminal stuff. I've done the, you know, whatever. I was never really big into a lot of stuff, but it never stopped me from trying some of the stuff. As a matter of fact, I was arrested and I went to jail before I even lost my virginity. Um, you know, and that was just trying to be cool to impress the people around me. It was stupid. Um, you know, so talking about young females, most young females, just like most young people, uh, will do things to be accepted, and a lot of girls see a way to be accepted by guys through being one of the guys. And what most females don't realize is that when you're one of the guys, they don't respect you. And this is coming from a guy who has, you know, I've lived through that. I've had friends, you know, female friends who act like one of the guys and do things that guys do, and I had zero respect for them. I mean, the level of respect was here. No matter how nice of a girl they were, no matter how good of a friend they were, there was zero level of respect. Guys don't respect other guys. So if they don't really respect other guys, they're not going to respect you as a female even more, because you're dropping yourself down and you're setting this very low standard for yourself. So they're going to respect you even less than they respect each other. Guys will only respect men will only respect another man if there's some kind of threat that is there. Threat of physical harm, threat of financial harm, social, whatever. You know, like they will respect their boss, their teacher, or, you know, whoever, as long as it serves a purpose. And when when that motivating factor is not there anymore, that level of respect disappears. So, in the fact that, you know, a guy will be your friend, a guy will respect you as long as it serves a purpose. And if that purpose is getting laid, if that purpose is treating you nicely to get to your sister, or to some of your hotter friends, whatever it is, they will treat you with respect as long as there's something in it for them. And if you're lowering that level of respect by burping and farting and, you know, sports knowledge and whatever it is that you do, you play Nintendo and all the, you know, Xbox or whatever, all these different things that you do are easily replaced. You know, they can find any one of their guy friends to do it, but they keep you around because you have a vagina. And because you have a vagina, there is hopes of seeing that vagina. And once you either A, make it clear that they're not going to see your vagina, or B, let them see the vagina, any level of respect that they had for you, any niceties, any whatever, will probably disappear. I mean, obviously there's the exception of guys who actually are nice guys and want to be your friend, but most of the time when it comes to good-looking guys who are athletic, who are somewhat popular, they're gonna treat you a certain way until you either A, give it up, or B, you don't give it up. You know, so my hope for you as a young female is that you choose the latter and you don't give it up to see who your real friends are. You know, and I've changed my perspective on things, you know, through a lot of self-development and realization. When I changed, you know, because I've done everything. When I say I had this, you know, a very low level of self-worth, there was nothing I wouldn't do. I've done everything sexually. There's, you know, threesomes, foursomes, having, you know, 10, 12 people in the room, everybody's naked and getting it on. You know, I mean, I've done porn. So many different things. Like I did a couple of porns with a fake name. and I was cool with that. And then um, I had the opportunity to make a couple $1,000s for a couple hours worth of work, um, but I had to use my real name for liability purposes because uh, apparently there are people out there who enjoy watching muscular guys get physically punished, like get their ass beat. Um, and I got my ass beat while I was butt naked um, for a couple $1,000s. Like um, yeah, I had like no thoughts of the future, no idea of the implications that it might one day have because I didn't see myself in the way I see myself now. Now I see the level of success that I'm going to reach and the fact that a lot of people are going to know who I am and a lot of people are going to be doing background checks and I'm going to be recognized. So now this video that's out there of me getting my ass beat while I'm totally butt naked is going to be in the tabloids or wherever, so it's going to be out there one day and my family's going to see that and my friends and people that I know are going to see that. And before I didn't have that level of self-respect because I was like, what, who cares, whatever, it's just me getting naked, I'm not afraid to get my ass beat, but um now that I've matured and I've grown and I've seen what I can be, I have a different level of self-worth and self-respect. And I made a lot of choices in life based off of being accepted and trying to be cool. And I did things that you know weren't the best for my development and weren't the best for my future. And I want young people to realize, females, guys, whatever, I want young people to realize that they need to start living their life as if everything they do is going to be found out and put on the news one day. As if some reporter who doesn't care, who doesn't know you, who doesn't care about you, just wants to make a good story, who's going to embellish on the details and try to make it more dramatic, is going to find out everything and do all kinds of digging on what you're doing and put it on the news that your family's going to see, that your friends and your grandma and your grandpa are going to see. Everyone is going to know all of the details of whatever it is that you're about to do. So you should live your life as if everything you're about to do is going to be on the news. As far as your sexuality goes, I didn't realize until recently. I mean, I knew there was a difference between how females carried themselves, a lady versus a hoe bag, but I didn't really grasp the concept until I met this one girl, who I knew in high school. She was the whatever, valedictorian. She was the class president, and I mean, she was popular because she was the smart, nerdy girl. And I never really talked to her because I was the outsider. I was the kid skipping school, doing the dumb shit. Um, so I never interacted with her. Well, then, you know, ended up seeing her a couple years later after she came back from school, and I knew that we had nothing in common. So I started talking to her and ended up falling in love with the girl because of the self-respect and the self-worth that she had for herself. She carried herself on a different level. Um, to this day, we're still friends. To this day, I have not, I won't burp, I won't fart, I won't curse, I won't say, whatever kind of stories I'm telling, I won't do that in front of her because of the level of respect I have for it. It's um, even after her and I, dated for a little while, even after her and I fooled around, I still had that level of respect for her, and I hold her on, in high esteem, for the way she carries herself. And what I realized is in a partner, that is what I'm looking for. In a female, I want somebody who whatever carries herself and holds herself to a higher standard because she has self-worth and self-value. Um, because of the way she carried herself when when we hung out, we didn't fool around. Um, I don't know, like I wasn't even thinking about having sex with her um, because of the way I felt about it. Like I fell in love with her before I even had sex with her, before we had even kissed. Um, I was in love with this girl, and when I finally did have the chance, I actually turned it down because I wanted her to um, I wanted her to respect her, not feel bad about the situation, um, because we weren't officially dating. I wanted her to respect herself, and not feel bad about what happened. I didn't want her to feel like I took advantage of her when it finally did happen. So I stopped the situation. I stopped myself because I cared about her, and how she felt, because I knew of how she carried herself. And she made me want to be a better person. Um, so like I said, I didn't tell, I didn't, no crude jokes, no whatever. Like the way I carried myself was different. Um, and one thing that I've realized is that when you change the way you talk, and you change the things you talk about, and you change certain things, you kind of realize who your friends are. I used to, because of all my stories of all the things that I've done, and the way I was in the past, I would tell stories. People would laugh. From when I went to prison, when I, whatever, when all these sexual escapades and all the conquering that I did back in the day, I had a lot of funny stories to tell, and people would invite me to go places. People would want to hang around with me because I was the entertainment. I didn't realize. I thought I was actually like, hey, let's hang out with Steven because we enjoy spending time with him. No, it was, let's invite Steven to hang out because he has really funny stories. He is the entertainment. So when I started talking about ideas and talking about helping people and talking about success and motivation, um, and all the different things that I saw and realized for myself in the future, people started saying, "Hey, well, why don't you tell the stories, talk about the things that you used to talk about, entertain us, you know, dance, monkey, put another quarter in his ass. He'll entertain us." Like, I was there for the entertainment. And people stopped hanging out with me because I started talking about things to elevate myself, to make myself a better person, and to make them, better people. I was talking about bettering myself and my situation and everyone else around me, and they just wanted to be entertained. So I realized who was my friend and who wasn't. And what I want you to realize is that most people keep you around for entertainment. So if you're one of the guys, if you're a young female, and whatever it is that you do to be accepted, they keep you around because of how you look. If you're a good-looking girl, they keep you around. And if you're wanting attention, you go from, if you are truly one of the guys, they see you as, a guy with a vagina. And then most of the time, the females who act like that have to be overly sexual to gain their feminism back. They have to start dressing in a certain way to get attention. They feel that they have to show off their assets, and they have to act in a very sexual manner to gain their feminism back, because the level of respect that the way guys treat them is not like a female, is not like a lady. So when they want to be treated like a lady, they feel that they have to act overly sexual and they have to do all these things to be accepted. And what I hope you realize, and what I tried to teach my sister, and I still am trying to teach her, is that, through example, I gave my sister the perfect example of how guys treat women. She saw all the girls I brought around, 2, 3, 4 different girls in the same week, sometimes, in the same day. It was, I treated women, and it's not because I was a horrible person, it was because that's what was available to me. These girls knew that I was acting like this, and because I was cool, told them what they wanted to, I was real with them. I was like, listen, I know you want to fool around. Let's fool around. And they didn't hold themselves to a higher standard, and I took advantage of that. They had low self-esteem, low self-worth, and you know, I I was able to push their buttons. And my sister saw this, and I tried to tell her, tried to show her, listen, this is how guys are. Don't just get with guys. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard. And she still, she lost her virginity to a guy who treated her the exact same way that I treated all of the women, um, you know, in growing up. And she still, it seems from the outside she has a new boyfriend every week, and that's because they, whatever, either she's giving it up or she's not giving it up. So she'll bring a guy home, she'll give it up, he'll move on, or she won't give it up and he'll move on because of the guys she's attracting. She's trying to hang out with the cool guys, not realizing that the popular guys are, they have all these females available to them. Why do you need to be one of them? You should be focused on being the best you can be instead of being the best that they think you should be. They think you should be slutty and easy, whereas, in reality, you should be focused on your studies and the future and being successful, and then people will be attracted to that. Because if you're a good looking female, if you're a good looking person, that only goes so far. When people start hanging out with you, they realize how dumb you are. They're not going to want to hang out with you too much unless you're giving it up. So they'll keep you around if you're giving them what they need in whatever way. If you're not stimulating them intellectually, there's only so long that they will hang out with you if you're not giving them sex. Whereas if you're stimulating them intellectually, you can have a friendship, you can have a relationship with people and it not be about sex, because they will hang out with you because of how you stimulate them intellectually and mentally. So my hope is that I can help you realize through the example that I have given of what not to do as a female. You don't need to be overly sexual to be attractive. Men are attracted to females that respect themselves. And if you are trying to attract guys who just want to be with you sexually, that's not what they're interested in. They're not going to be interested in you holding yourself to a higher standard. But if you're looking for someone who you want to be in a relationship with, someone who's going to respect you, you need to respect yourself. And if you're giving it up, if you're, as a young female, you should hold on to your virginity because you can never get that back. Everyone's curious because they hear all these great things about sex. I said already, sex is very unfulfilling as a guy. And as for most guys that I know, it's the thrill of the chase. It's not the actual act of sex. For females, it's different because it's about a connection, because most females don't chase. They don't hunt. Men hunt, and we get excited by the hunt. It's a primal urge, and we fulfill it any way we can, whether we're actually hunting, which we don't really do nowadays because we can go down to Publix and wrangle up a meatloaf if we need to. But females on the other hand, they're looking for a connection, and if the only way you're going to get a connection is through sexuality, it's going to be very, very unfulfilling because you're trying to connect. If you're still in high school, you're trying to connect with somebody who's not very deep to begin with. You're trying to connect with somebody who doesn't know who they are. If you don't know who you are, you're not going to find yourself trying to get with people who don't know who they are. So first you have to define who you are before you can give a part of yourself to someone who doesn't know who they are. And again, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19, and I lost it to somebody who I have never spoken to since that. It was meaningless, it was pointless, and it lasted all of about 20 seconds. It was a joke. It was very worthless, and it didn't mean anything. Now I respect myself, and I realize that there's more to living, there's more to knowing somebody than trying to stick my P in their V. So anyway, I'm just kind of rambling on at this point. This is not something I normally talk about. So it's, I guess, hard to be effective with what words I use when I'm not practiced in this subject. So anyway, for all you young ladies out there, hold yourself to a higher standard. Be classy. If guys want to burp and fart around you, you need to tell them no. Even if it's okay with you, you need to say, hey, I'm a lady, don't do that shit. Excuse my language. Because, if you don't put up, you teach people how to treat you. And if you teach them that it's okay for them to be at this level, then they're going to stay at this level and below. Whereas if you teach them that in order to be around you, they have to be at this level, they're going to be at this level and above. So basically, it's up to you what kind of men and what kind of friends and people you attract into your life based on how you teach people to treat you. People don't disrespect me because when they disrespect me, I cut them out of my life. People know that they have to treat me a certain way to be in my life. And it's always been the opposite, where people would treat me however, and I would still allow them to be in my life, and that would just make them treat me even worse because they know they can get away with whatever and I'd still be around. And for the last however many years, I changed that, and now people who are in my life keep me at this high level of respect and treat me a certain way because I've taught them that this is how I'm going to be treated if you want to be in my life. And that's what you need to do. If somebody wants to be in your life and wants to be a part of your life, they need to treat you a certain way. And you can weed out the people who are just there for sex. You can weed out the people who aren't going to be a good influence on you by not letting them treat you a certain way, not letting them talk to you a certain way, and telling them, hey, I'm a lady and I deserve to be respected and treated a certain way. So anyway, that's pretty much it. It's already been way too long. So if you watched it, if you actually got something out of it, great. I'm glad. I hope that my past and my embarrassment will be a chance for people to have a better future. Basically, we need to reprogram the way you think and the way young people think, because television and media and their friends and people around them at a young age influence them in the wrong way. So hold yourself to a higher standard. Use your brain. Think about what you're doing, as if it's going to be on the news. And yeah, you are what you think. You know, if you think about all kinds of dumb shit and you think about things that don't matter, guess what? You're not going to matter, and you're going to be dumb shit. If you think about, talk about, and spend your time watching videos about things that hold you to a higher standard, put you at a higher level of consciousness, and make you smarter or whatever, you're going to be smarter. You're going to be at a higher level of consciousness. People are going to hold you to a higher level. So it's up to you. You choose what you do in this life. You have the choice of the attitude that you possess. So make that choice. And yep,